Hello, Mother. We meet again. Hey, what's going on, people? This is Logan Myers from Cinefellas.com checking in with you of the Season 4 finale of Bates Motel, titled Norman. And if you haven't seen Season 4 up into the finale that was premiered last night, don't watch this review. I'm definitely going to have a lot of spoilers. So just to forewarn you. There's a lot that's been going on this season with Bates Motel. Probably one of the best seasons thus far. So I don't even know where to begin. Basically, Norman's mother, played by Vera Farmiga, gets married to Officer Romero, Nestor Carbonell, and they use insurance money so they can put Norman in the psych ward out in Oregon, you know, because everybody knows he's delusional but Norma. So they use insurance money, putting him away for a while, and he seems to be getting better in the show mentally. Talking with a therapist every day. But, there's something deeper there that something that can't be healed, something that will never, get away from Norman. And as Norman's, away at the psych ward, things seem good. Norma and Officer Romero are married, and they actually seem like they're in love, and everything seems peachy, right? Dylan is Norman's brother. He's also in a relationship with Norman's friend Emma, and they're in love, and everything just seems really happy in the world of Norman Bates, which is kind of odd, You don't see romance and happiness, but that's because he's not around, right? So eventually, Norma gets sick of not seeing her son and goes to the psych ward to get him out, bring him home, and, this is not a good idea. For a lot of reasons. Dylan's like, no, I've seen what Norman can do. He needs to be put away in the psych ward for good. And same with Officer Romero. They're like, why would you bring this psychotic kid back to your house, Well, he's my son. I need to see him. No, you shouldn't. So as Norman gets out of the psych ward, he finds out about his mother and Officer Romero's marriage. And of course, he freaks out because Norman can be the only man in his mother's life. And as he gets out, he has his first family dinner with Romero and his mother, and of course he freaks out, and Romero goes after him, calm down, it'll be fine, we're in love, we want to be married, it's good for your mother to be happy. And of course Norman tries to kill him with an axe and, sets Officer Romero off and is like, you need to put your son back in the psych ward. And Norman's like, no, he's fine. He's just a boy. That's just how he is. No, that's not how he is. He needs to be put away because he's going to kill some people, including his family. So Romero meets up with Dylan, and they discuss, what's going on. And, Dylan knows exactly how Norman's been because he's been around him his life and knows that he's not mentally stable, have normal human interaction. He needs to be put away, so Dylan goes to talk to Norma, and she freaks out because Dylan's talking to Romero about Norman, and, just things don't go good, and Dylan and his mother, Norma, just really have a falling out, and he takes off to Seattle to better his life and have a normal life with Emma. So Norma, is pretty pissed off that Romero went behind her back to talk to Dylan about Norman and trying to get him back, put him back into the psych ward, and that really puts a damper on their relationship and their marriage. And she basically is like, well, I'm choosing my son. This can't work. And which leads up to the end of the last episode last week, episode 9. And she's writing this letter to Romero, and she takes off her wedding ring and says, basically, goodbye, I love you. And then things take a turn for the worse after this scenario of Norman saying goodbye to Alex through this letter. She goes to bed, and Norman closes all their vents because their furnace is fucked up. They didn't fix it, so he closes all the vents, and he goes to lay down with his sleeping mother, and of course, that's how he kills her, with the carbon monoxide in the house, because it's a super old house. And she ends up passing away, which I didn't really think they would have let her go out like that, but, nonetheless, it was a pretty cool sequence, and seeing her, actually die, because I didn't think they would do that in the show. And, when Romero finds out and comes to the house that she's dead and Norman's unconscious, he's freaking out, just emotional. And it was really great acting by Nestor Carbonell. You can feel the emotion, and you feel the heartache because he really loved this woman, and now she's gone because of her psychotic son. And this leads into the season finale that aired last night, titled Norman, and basically Romero, is angry and he wants vengeance on Norman because he knew that he killed his own mother, because that's what he does. He kills people that get in his way. And basically the whole episode is Romero going after Norman. There's one sequence in the hospital because he was unconscious from the carbon monoxide. He finally comes out of it, and Romero shows up and just beats the shit out of him. And it was just excellent. You're like clapping, like, yeah, beat the shit out of that kid. And Romero is just snapping. He's pissed off. He's going to the sheriff's office to get his gun because he's gonna cap this kid. He killed the one woman that he loved more than anything, and he's not going to let this little shit stop him, and he's not going to let this little shit get in the way anymore, and he needs to put him down like a sick dog. And then Norman basically finds one of his mother's dresses. He loves those dresses, by the way, kind of like I like mine. But he goes to the funeral for his mother that's obviously dead in the casket, and he's sitting there talking about his mother and the life, and nobody's there except the funeral owners. And then Romero walks in and again starts beating the shit out of him. So after Norman's buried, of course Norman can't say goodbye that way. He can't not see his mother anymore. So of course he goes and digs up her body and carries her back up to the Bates house. And it was just a great sequence. You could just, the camera work from behind him just carrying her, and she's flailing in his arms. And it kind of sets up, or really it connects with the movie, because if you remember Alfred Hitchcock's movie, Norman Bates has the dead, rotting corpse of his mother upstairs in the rocking chair, and you could see through the window. And it was really cool how they set that up. But anyways, Norman brings up the dead body of his mother and lays her down on the couch, and she's just sitting there, and just was excellent because her eyes, she's dead, and her eyes are just open, and they're just like a really dark grayish blue, just like staring there lifeless. And I thought, the camera work on this particular episode was just phenomenal, and it really gave that chilling aspect of the movies. What's really interesting is that Norman thinks that his mother faked her death to get away from Romero in his delusional mind. That's what happened. But really, he killed his mother, and he can't get over that, and he can't say goodbye to her. So that's why he's gonna, let her corpse live with him in this big 1800s Victorian style home. And that's really the globe that he lives in, is this world of isolation and just being alone and just seeing these ghosts and these visions around his house. And that's how it really ties in with the movie, is like you start to see him turn into the person that the serial killer we all know. And the last 20 minutes is basically Norman in this big abandoned house with his dead mother on the couch, and seeing her playing piano, and it's Christmas time. There's Christmas lights everywhere in the tree, and the outdoor of his house is all lit up for Bates Motel, and it's basically what happens, is just him being isolated and living in his own mind and seeing things that aren't actually there. At the end, Chick shows up, which is Ryan Hurst. Other people know him as Opie from Sons of Anarchy, shows up and brings up, hears about Norma's death, and brings Norman some food to eat, and he walks in the house, and you could see Norma's dead body on the couch, just sitting there, but he doesn't say anything. And he, says, enjoy this food, and he takes off. But he saw the dead body. So it's like kind of leading up to the next and final season, is like maybe he'll do something, maybe he'll kill Norman. But there's still some unanswered questions that weren't answered. One being that Dylan didn't know that his mother died. So will he find out and come back and try to kill Norman? And also that Dylan is still pretty pissed off that his girlfriend's mother was missing. And the last person that saw his girlfriend's mother was Norman. So that's still up in the air. So maybe he'll come back next season and take care of business. And also Romero was arrested in this episode by the FBI for perjury. So, when he gets out of jail, he's going to come right at Norman and hopefully finish business. But It's hard to say, but the next season, the final season, is going to be excellent. I think it's going to tie up all these loose ends, and I think it really will connect it to the first film. Maybe we'll have that, that famous shower scene. Maybe we'll see Norman getting a boner, looking through the peephole of the hotel. I don't know. But, this episode was phenomenal. Freddie Highmore plays the perfect Norman Bates. It's so chilling and dead on at times that you forget that he's British. And he plays the character so well, and I really think this kid has got a lot going on. His acting's incredible, and I think he's going to get some bigger gigs down the road. But the final season's going to be great. This episode was phenomenal. And I'm giving the Norman episode a 4.5 out of 5 hair pieces. And until next time, and next season, I'll see you at Bates Motel. Cheers!